All right, let's talk about the rounds of rain soaking the Sunshine State. We were just talking about Florida. Man, we're going to be talking about you all week. Rinse, repeat. This cycle continues. Storms already causing some flash flooding. Take caution while you drive.
And the tropics, they're bubbling in the East Pac as Hurricane Pico turns towards the Hawaiian Islands. But what's happening in the Atlantic as we enter the peak of hurricane season? We'll get to it here. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jim Cantori and Jordan Steele.
Yes, so far the Atlantic side has been relatively quiet. We had Aaron, but since then, that's been about it. But
we're at the top of the chart,
We're not even at the peak of the season yet. There's still 60% left.
Right up there.
And may I remind everybody that Sandy was Halloween.
Wilma.
So late October.
How about Wilma?
Wilma was also a big October storm. You're absolutely right. Last year, Milton was an October storm.
I was hoping we'd be done. But no, we got to keep our eyes on the horizon. Keep our eyes on what you're saying. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the horizon here with a water spout. It was
below average this afternoon, and actually through a big chunk of the week in the Northeast, we are at or just slightly below average. Let's talk about king tides. They are exceptionally high tides caused by a combination of the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon, which occur during a new or a full moon when the Earth, sun, and moon are aligned. So you have this setup. The moon could also be on that side too. So the alignment actually makes that water get higher. And Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about how when you're standing on the sand, you think the tide comes up and then the tide goes out. But you really think about water bulging out towards the moon because of the gravitational pull, and then the Earth rotating into that bulge. That's going to give you the high tide rotate out and it gets into the low tide. So I thought that was an interesting way to really see this and think about what's really happening. So we are going to see high tides here as we head into the evening hours. These cycles are going to go over, the next couple of days. We get them 6 to 8 times a year. Look at Charleston, an area that is prone to flooding. By the way, king tides, it can be a sunny day and you could still have flooding. That's how intense these king tides are. Otherwise, we're going to have minor flooding anywhere from Savannah to the Carolinas and all the way into Long Island, into the Northeast for us. Then on top of that, you're going to have wave action and rip currents. And the reason we're going to get that is because we do have a surface feature and then a high to the north. So expect to see some yellow and red flags if you're going to the beach. There's our surface feature, high pressure to the north. The pressure gradient between these two accelerates the winds. So look at Hatteras, gusting to 31. And we're sustained in Charleston at 14, Savannah at 13. And all of this wind sticks around, not only for today, but also as we head into tomorrow as well. So it stays breezy and it stays not great at the beach. If you're going out there, make sure that you have a hat. Make sure maybe you have some long sleeves and long pants because you might get sandblasted, a little microdermabrasion. If we look at Charleston, high tide 8:47. The next high tide is tonight at 9:14. Jordan.
All right, when we look at the calendar, second full week of September.
Not much for you.
Matthew. Michael, also October storms, by the way. Let's take a look ahead in the T-Mobile Coast to Coast forecast and give you a peek at temperatures in your area as you plan to travel for the rest of the week. And we are going to see the cool temperatures continue from the Great Lakes into the Northeast and the rain into Florida. It just doesn't really stop. We have a little bit of an omega setting up for us here, a little bit of an omega block with that warmth right through the center of the country and coolness and wetness on either side of that. Look at Grand Forks at 82 versus Chicago at 79. As we roll into our Thursday, we see that warmth kind of expanding and our temperatures starting to rebound as the forecast showed. And this trough coming into the west will make its way into the Intermountain West Friday, Saturday, into the plains. But look at that heat into Kansas City with all the thunderstorms that we are going to have off the coast here of Florida and also the Carolinas. And notice that we have moisture. Anywhere you see the green and white on the map, where you see the red, that's where we have drier air in place. And we do have high pressure that is centered up into the Northeast Midwest. And it's really the high pressure with the low pressure here across Florida and into the Atlantic. It is the combo of those two that is giving us these strong winds along the East Coast. That will be a big story. Florida It's been rainy. It's going to continue to be rainy. Sometimes you're just kind of in one of those moods where you're like, oh, can it just rain so I have an excuse to just stay in the house, lounge around? Sometimes you feel guilty when it's really nice out doing that. Well, you have an excuse today, as we will see those showers and thunderstorms, outdoor activities being canceled for us here across the board. Sometimes you're pushing yourself too, and you're not giving yourself a rest day. And your body needs that sometimes, just to rest and recoup, especially as you get older. You think you're still 20. And you push and push and push and push, and you're like, oh, wait. Are you feeling that too, Jim? Like, sometimes you just push because you think, I should be able to do this. I should be able to burn the candle and the whole thing.
Yeah, it's called arthritis.
Yeah, that too.
That's horrible.
I got plenty of that with you. I'm with you on that. But we will see good rainfall for us here from central down into South Florida, 3 to 5 inches of it, and we need it right where we're going to get it. That's where it's dry. You see a little bit of dryness there into central Florida. Tampa, we actually are down by about 2 inches. Orlando up by over 4, but much of the state from Tally to Fort Lauderdale, we are below average from 4 to 8 to even nearly 15 inches of rain. This is the rainy season. This is usually when we catch up on that rain, but we've had no tropical entities to help us out here. And that's one of the reasons, Jim, it's rainy season and it's when we catch up.
Yeah, what's interesting is all the rain in the forecast, the tree starts the cycle all over again.
And I'm thinking maybe the drought might make things a little less vibrant for some of us this year. There's that potential.
Yeah, and the worst drought conditions are out west, but you saw that Utah, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just get it quicker, and it doesn't last as long, too.
So if we look at our peak times, we notice that obviously higher up that you go in the mountains or in latitude, then you are going to see it turn a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I'm glad they added November and December.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes the oaks start to peak around Thanksgiving. In Atlanta, so that's obviously late November.
We're already seeing some turnage here into Wisconsin. We got a picture that was sent to us on social media.
I think that's a red maple.
You think it's a red maple?
I do.
Well, on the map here, we do have basically the west is where we're starting to see a little bit of that, and then into the Minnesota, northern Minnesota there. But as you mentioned, Jim,
we're on the clock. Right
We're
now.
on the clock.
Warm, sunny days, cool, crisp nights. That gives us our best color.
And we're getting a lot of cool air.
We are getting that with that high pressure in the east, for sure, Steph.
But we do have the drought, too.
You do have the drought. Could be a quicker color show, maybe even into northern New England as well. Just because you have drought doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad show.
No.
All right?
No.
It's got to be pretty severe, a drought.
It does. It does.
Just shut everything off. And here's the forecast.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks below average, where we're already having significant drought, so that's not ideal. And then warmer temperatures. You don't want them at night, I will say that. You want those cool nights in order to see
about
things.
75 and 40.
Yeah. But as we look at our average date here for our first freeze, notice we're getting about that time here in the northern tier.
Frost advisories for New England tonight. Through that data added to the models said, hey, you know what? Kiko's not going to come right at Hawaii anymore. It's going to go north of the Hawaiian Islands, which is exactly what it's going to do.
Now, the season starts May 15th in the East Pac, a little bit earlier than the Atlantic, which is June 1st. But there are 4 storm names ahead of us here in the East Pac. They've been cranking them out. You
want to know the hottest place where it's going to be in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Right here. We're going to have, I bet we're going to have 2 hurricanes down here. Meanwhile, in the Atlantic, it's just been ridiculously quiet, and we'll talk about that in a second. But here's Kiko starting to get sheared, Steph. I doubt it's a Cat 2, but you know what? The hurricane hunters are out here, so they'll tell us. They know because they're doing the measurements.
That doesn't look like a Cat 2, if you ask me.
Well, did you see the Google DeepMind? They just kill it. By tomorrow morning, it's a tropical storm.
Look at all the shear on this thing. I mean, it's getting ripped apart right now.
I mean, you see how it just pushes all the clouds up? That's at least 30 knots. At least 30 knots.
Then it's going into cold water.
Then it's going, it's in the cold water now, and north of Hawaiian Island, it warms up. But if we've got the shear there and you've already killed the center of the structure, forget it.
Back together, yeah, for sure.
Aaron has been the show.
Aaron's been the only hurricane that we have had here. We've had one landfalling tropical storm.
Chantal.
And typically, after the peak of the season, which is September 10th, which we're right at, I don't know, 6 named storms. And I'll tell you what, over the next 2 weeks, not a whole lot brewing out there in the Atlantic. So you get 6 named storms, 4 hurricanes, 2 majors in October and November. That's going to be tough to do.
If we don't get a hurricane or even a named tropical storm before the end of September, which I'm not saying we're doing, there's no way we're getting to this. Absolutely. I mean, you can't just get that out in October. I mean, you'd have to have a complete change in the basin, and we just don't see it. And one of the reasons for that, I mean, even 91L just worked its way through all of this shear over the end. This is the main development region. This is where stuff starts to crank this time of year.
It is south of the shear, but there's still a lot of that subsidence and that stable air that is not allowing this to grow.
And this wave is going across South America, and then that's going to be, I think, a hurricane on the Pacific side. This is all Saharan air. Now, this isn't dust. There is some dust in it, but the point is it's stable air.
Yes.
Look, there's no convection in here. In other words, that's convection.
And by the way, that's very far south, too, to get a spin.
That's probably about 8 degrees, Steph.
That's far south.
Yeah.
Because when you're right by the equator, it's a lot harder to get that spin. You got to go away from it a little bit.
This weekend.